It's the same thing that the bees do. The queen bee has to regulate the hormones of the tribe. And the female bees, or the ones that are not gender specific to us, but to them they still females. And they are the ones who select the queen. You know, the male don't select the queen. The women select the queen. She has to be able to balance her energy first. Then when she set up the coven, now they got y'all thinking that the witch is this ugly, evil, hideous woman out in the woods cooking in the cauldron pot. That's BS. Don't fall for it, women. The word witch means wise woman. That means that you're not falling for the patriarchal bullshit. You're not going for the games. You understand the problem and the solution, and you're working with your sisters in the coven that they call it. They used to call it a hive, or they used to call it a tribe, but now they call it a coven, so they want to give it a bad name. Tell y'all that anybody that practices voodoo and Wicca is insane and that they are evil. That's crap. Don't fall for it. All of those are tricks. Yes, Angel, the movie Avatar was about specifically the invasion of South Africa and the conquering of the people called Zulu. You got to study the history of the Zulu and you'll understand that the Iwas tree was in South Africa among the Zulu. And you understand that that was where they was able to jump the reincarnation cycle off the Earth grid from Mother Earth giving birth to her children all over again into a reincarnation cycle off planet. So what they did is they cut the tree down so now the women don't know where to go. They don't know how to regrow the tree. They forgot because they killed off all of the priestesses. When they killed off, yes, a woman of wisdom is a witch, a wise woman. That's the same as saying high priest, high priestess. It's the same thing. When everybody talk about the Ein Sof, Sophia. Sophia is not a man, it's not a masculine. Sophia is the wisdom of heaven. And the wisdom of heaven comes in a feminine form. Why? Because we on the feminine planet. Not only because we on the feminine planet, because the vibration of this universe came through the infinite noon, what we call the primordial waters of creation. It's replicated as vaginal discharge fluid during orgasm. It can be charged. Now we talk about the vagina being a healing organ. Just like you can make a baby healthy. A sick woman with cancer, her cancer stops when she gets pregnant. Why? How come they don't harness that and use that to fight cancer? They all know that if a woman gets pregnant and she got cancer, the cancer stops. What are they hiding from you, woman? What are they keeping you from knowing about yourself? So, if they don't want you to know that the cancer is stopped at the developing of a child in the womb, what else is they keeping from you about the power of the uterus? What they don't tell you is this, is if you understood why the cancer stops during gestation of a child, if you understood the why aspect of that, you can use it to be permanently healthy. Women are designed to heal themselves by gestating themselves psychologically within their own uterus by connecting with divinity through her mitochondria. They meet. God and woman meet in the uterus through the agency of mitochondria. Y'all need to understand what mitochondria are doing, and then it makes more sense. The mitochondria is the source of the Holy Ghost. It is the source of the Holy Spirit. It can't get to Earth. It can't jump the mitochondrial DNA barrier without a uterus. It can't happen. If you can search all over the world, and you will not find it. Now, people ask, well, what about a clone that was grown in the laboratory? Because they're doing that now. The clones, because of the code that's on the DNA, is actually tied directly back to the host, meaning the person they took the clone from. Tubal ligation. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't never mention it. Now, what happened when they tie your tubes? It don't stop you from releasing eggs. Where do those eggs go? What do your body do in a response to it? Your body has to respond to that egg stopping in your fallopian tube. Because when they cauterize the tube, or when they snip it, clip it, or fold it over, however they decide to give you your tubal ligation, whatever method they use, that egg is still being spored out from the ovum. You need to understand what these doctors is doing to the woman. The doctors, majority of them, if they women, are equally as ignorant as their patient, because they understand the science of the body, but they don't understand the spirit science behind it. They don't understand the connection of the mitochondria to the uterus. And they don't understand how the mitochondria jumping through the uterus, touching the energy field in the brain that we call our pineal gland, stimulating a sacred secretion through the pituitary gland that goes back out and sends a signal to the Queen of Heaven and Earth that this one is ready to receive that divine energy you call Holy Spirit. A man has to use the uterus of a woman. He don't have one. He don't have one. That's why in all of the religions, it tells the man, like in Islam, they got two ways of saying it. They say, wisdom is at the feet of the mother. Now remember where Ein Sof is. Crown chakra, crown center. Right? Wisdom is Ein Sof, way up here. Now, they tell you in Islam that wisdom is at the feet of the mother, or wisdom is in the lap of the mother, or wisdom is between the legs of the mother. This is the Islamic hadiths and legends that they teach about the woman. But then they oppress the very same source. Where did they get that from? If they teach this reverence, why are they not following it? The way that they teach the zakat, the way that they teach Hajj. You make pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in your lifetime, but it tell you in the same doctrine that you should reverence the womb that you came from. And that wisdom comes from the mother, but you oppress her and you cover her from head to toe. Well, you got to go back to the origin of the practice, and it starts with the story of Abraham, as they give it to us, of covering these women in the Middle East. Because of those created beings that didn't look attractive. When the uncreated being, the ones that generated, I'm going to go back through and check questions in a minute. The beauty that the natural woman held, there was no comparison. There was nothing compared to that, the physical beauty. So what did Abraham tell his sister Sarah that was his wife? Because y'all think that that was a lie, but it wasn't. When you go back to the story, it said it was his sister, but they had they had the same father, but a different mother. The same with, well, I ain't gonna keep going into all that. That's not important. But the whole thing being is that the story is there to tell you something. It's to get your attention, and it's to point your attention to something that you would normally overlook. And that's why they have to give you the opportunity to discover it. The self-esteem factor that comes when you remove the mammary glands becomes psychological, that affects you spiritually, which restricts the ability to download Holy Spirit through your mitochondrial, because it's telling the queen, your daughter is in distress. If you send it now, you will destroy her. Your daughter is in distress. If you send her the full power of herself, you will destroy her. So what is the response of those who wish to oppress women? You have to have her under pressure constantly, and it comes out where she's crabby and bitchy. That's not the natural state of the woman, and she does not feel good in that state. So they have her chopping her mammary glands off, and now they don't even have to discover a cancer to remove it, because they'll run a test that they call a DNA test that gives you markers. They tell them that they are predisposed to breast cancer. You don't have any breast cancer or anything like that, but you can get it because you have a DNA marker. Newsflash. It's given to you by your gynecologist in your uterus, and by your obstetrician in your mammary glands. By not giving you correct information as far as your mammary glands is concerned, they allow it to develop. Whereas in your uterus, they give you a culture. They put a culture in there. The same way you put it in the petri dish in the laboratory. If you want to take that uterus out that woman. Now, how do they determine who uterus to take? This is the one that you got to pay attention to. How do they determine who uterus to take? The woman that exhibit the most matriarchal self-conscious traits. She the most matriarchal and the most self-aware. Those are the ones they have to target. Because other women drawn to her, she can effectuate a healing. If they don't throw her off before she figure out who and what she is, they can't stop her from healing other women. So they want to hurry up and snatch her uterus out so she can't download directly from spirit the healing energies. Now, how does this relate to the iconoclasm, the destruction of the idols around the world? Now, I told you that every time they launch an attack on the women, they have to destroy an idol or an icon on the surface of the earth that's reported so we can have a means to discover what they are doing, right? So the icons they destroy on the earth tells us the level of intensity of the assault on the women and on planet Earth itself, because the planet Earth is feminine. So when you see them tear down something like that Buddhist statue in Afghanistan, as I mentioned in the earlier video, but you probably couldn't hear it. When they took over Afghanistan, they sent a signal out to the world that they were now in the optimum position to launch an all-out new rape campaign at the dawning of the new age. Some of us are sent here to stop what they have planned. Some of us that was sent to stop this next rape campaign are made to look equally as hideous as the ones behind it. You got to keep this in mind. Some of the ones that's sent to stop the pain look like the exact same ones inflicting the pain. Because if they didn't look like the enemy would immediately recognize them and stop them. Immediately. So under the divide and conquer, you got to have a dog in every fight. You got to have people that's willing to do something they wouldn't normally do of themselves, for themselves, and by themselves, but they would do this for the redemption of the collective. So you have people doing unsavory things that they wouldn't normally do in order for us all to break out of this trap. It's a mind trap and it's a soul trap. And we can clean it up in short order by first focusing on healing these women from this patriarchal assault that is once again being waged. Now we are in what you call the culmination of the coup de grace that has been interrupted. And now if you watch, you see like this dude that just killed himself in the news that was sex trafficking the children. You see them all running for cover now. But who's chasing them? People who seem to be either associated with them or know better. They seem to be either associated with them or they not know better. I'm going to give y'all an example. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey had a job. And her job is sometimes to be the bad guy. Because Oprah had to keep tabs on certain people. So she had to be put in a hard position to make a hard choice in order to do the most good later. She got to do a little dirt now. You can't get out of hell without using some of the tactics of the devil himself. We in hell. We on our way out. So all of the tactics of the devil we use, we have to show you what they were so you understand why they had to be used. Divide and conquer. We thought we'd been divided this whole time, but we've been trying to break up out of it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm right, you should have been prepared.
Indeed. Somebody said, where's it at, man? Here we go. Okay, here we go. What can you tell us about Sirius X?
That's a satellite record radio station. But I think she probably means Planet X.
Mm.
Also called Rilo 7. The Red Giant. Got a few names to it. But she's talking about Nibiru. It's close as fuck. I mean, people seeing it in the sky in the sunrise in varying parts of the globe, depending on where they at. It sticks out some places louder than others. Some places you can see it on the opposite side at sunset. You know, and It's just there. Shit, that big ass motherfucker here.
Announcing nuclear war.
Ain't no nuclear war finna happen. If one nuclear missile go in the sky, you're gonna see all of these motherfucking close ships come out close.
It's a wrap. They can't do that, huh?
It's prohibited.
So what happened when they did it the first time?
The first time that they didn't think we was evolved enough to split the atom.
Uh-huh.
And when we did, that got everybody to tell, oh, these motherfuckers about to blow themselves up. Get the guns from the kids before they kill themselves. Yeah, that's how they was.
And what? So what? The ET stepped to the government's like, yo, chill. Is that
well, they was already. That's what made them set up the military-industrial complex. You got to remember, they didn't set that up to after World War II. And Eisenhower gave the speech talking about how terrified he was for allowing the military-industrial complex to be established, because it gave them the ability to take over the world, basically. But the military-industrial complex was created with military intelligence and extraterrestrial beings. That's why they say Trump know about the Galactic Council, because he spoke to him.
Who, Trump?
Yeah. If you go back to, he did a speech at the United Nations, and he was telling them motherfuckers, we got some motherfuckers behind us. Y'all think these motherfuckers got some shit you can't fight. Right? He letting them know. He said, anybody else try to come over here with that takeover shit, this is a wrap. The buck stops here. He did a whole speech at the United Nations behind his communication with extraterrestrials that's pushing for the organic people to return. We call them the Elder Sky Brothers. That's what the tribes always referred to them in the varying different tongues. They was the Elder Sky Brothers, the Elder Sky family that always come every 3,600 years like clockwork for the last couple million years. The whole Alafia song is not new. We've been singing that to the motherfuckers every time they come back.
The what song? What song you said?
The Alafia song.
What's that?
From The Lion King. It's an African song to welcoming the ancestors back.
Oh. I don't remember it. I got to go watch that movie again.
Yeah, look at the audience. I bet you somebody say, I know. They probably tell you the whole name of the song.
Wow, man. You're going to have me watch Lion King, man. Let's get to the next question.
That's the story about us.
Yeah. Yo, man, listen. The Lion King, I'm going to tell you, man. Real quick story, right? I ain't watched that movie when it first came out. I kept hearing about it. I didn't watch it. I finally got around to watching it like years and years and years, probably about 6 years ago or something, like real recently. Finally watched The Lion King. I'm sitting there in the living room watching it. I start crying. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, my girl, like, nigga, you crying? I'm like, oh shit. When the father died, I'm like, oh, he died. You're like, yo, it caught me by surprise, yo, Ross. I swear to God. I ain't crying since my mother passed away.
Hey, look,
this right here, I don't know I didn't know why was this movie? I was like, oh God, oh no, that what was his name? Simba or something? I forgot, whatever his name is. Mustafa,
right.
I forgot. But it's crazy.
You want to see something?
Yeah.
Put in Kimba, Kimba in your search engine and go to images. Now remember, the one from The Lion King is Simba.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let me share this screen. Hold up, yo. Give me 1 second, y'all. Be patient with Brother Rich. All right. Now, what we looking at here? Kimba, the white lion.
This is the same story. Kimba is the heir. The white lion is coming up to prominence. You see what he look like growing up there?
Right. Yeah. Wow.
This was a very popular story in the 70s. Kimba the White Lion.
Wow.
This is the same as the Lion King.
Same as the Lion.
Yeah, only this one is more Eurocentric.
All right, let's get to the next one. Okay, do you think the solar flare is going to charge up the people that's vibing high?
Anytime a solar flare come in, it affects us. But the solar flares that's coming in now are coming in with data upgrades for the DNA. The human DNA is designed to get an upgrade at a very particular point in the positioning of Earth in the galaxy, in the universe, or what we call in the Great Wheel, right? And when we get to a certain point, the sun reacts to where it's at, and we already know from cycles of this what to expect, so we know what energy should be coming in to upgrade the DNA. And these solar flares that's coming in now is coming in on a high enough frequency where all species is going to either upgrade or die out.
Let's get to the next question. Did the Galactic Federation take Queen Elizabeth out the game?
I think the Earth Confederation, we gotta, okay, so in order for us to do business with beings from another star system, we first have to have a unified presence all over the planet. You know this unified presence as the Leviathan force. It's a military